Hi everyone, so I'm in a different location today. I'm currently at Joe's house, so have a lovely spare room. Yes, it looks much neater than my own house, so I hope you enjoy that. Anyway, today I'm here to do my January film, TV, what I watched kind of wrap up and give you some mini reviews of some of the things that I checked out during January. First off, I just want to mention that all of my notes accidentally got deleted when I moved some stuff to a different kind of save file on my phone. So sorry if some reviews aren't as in depth as they could have been. I had to rewrite the reviews and points that I wanted to mention way after I had watched whatever I watched, hence the kind of briefer reviews, but I tried to give as much detail as possible. It's just I know in my mind it's not as good as the original review that I had written, if that makes sense. Anyway, enough bambling, let's get on to what I watched. So the first thing I checked out in January was ZooQuest, which I gave a 4 stars. Honestly, I feel like I've seen bits of this before, maybe when David Attenborough had his, like, I think it was a special birthday or something, and I'm pretty sure they showed him some of the clips in the interview of ZooQuest, so yeah, some of them I felt like I had seen before. I was having a bit of a deja vu moment. But anyway, this is collecting some of his first ever animal shows, or shows in general, I think, in colour for the first time. I think previous to this, everyone had thought that it was just filmed in black and white tape, but they stumbled upon it recently that they were actually filmed in colour, so they re-released them, or re-released a selected few in colour to share with the world, I guess, for the first time. Honestly, I had picked this up as a type of revision tool for my behaviour exam that was coming up, and I saw it as a revision tool because my teacher actually said that documentaries and stuff like that counted as further reading around the subject, and I was hoping I'd get kind of information that I'd got from like Planet Earth and stuff like that, and I was really just hoping to get some examples that I could use and embed throughout my exam. Unfortunately, it wasn't as helpful in that aspect because it wasn't really like any of the other documentaries he's done. This kind of collection of ZooQuest, the way they edit it and stuff, was kind of more like, I don't know, it had little kind of interviews embedded with it, if that makes sense, and it wasn't really much focus on the show as opposed to almost the making of it, but there were clips of the show running throughout, if that makes sense. You have to watch it to really get what I mean. The bits that they actually showed of the show ZooQuest, I really enjoyed. It actually focused on more of the society and the, I don't know, the resources around the people and the countries and the exotic places that we're going to, rather than the actual animals. I mean, there were a lot of information on the animals, but I definitely saw that it focused more on people, which was really interesting, but obviously didn't really help much for my test. I just really did enjoy learning about the different exotic cultures and just surroundings and places that I've never been before. It was interesting to see how they viewed it back then when they first shot all those footage, I guess. But anyway, it is a really nice put together collection, and I'm glad that I've finally got around to watching it, and that it's in colour, because it was really interesting and stunning to kind of see how it was filmed. Really, really cool. But yeah, I gave that 4 stars. Unfortunately, it didn't help with my exam, but it was beneficial to me anyway. The next thing I watched, kind of keeping in theme with animals, I guess, was the newer release of The Jungle Book, which I think came out in 2016, and I gave this a 4 stars. I've actually been wanting to check this newer version out for a little while, especially because I had recently read the book for, I don't know if it was the first time in my life, but it was definitely the first time in my adult years, and I've just noticed my collar's all untucked. Oh, that's so annoying. Right, hopefully that doesn't irritate me any further. There we go, looking presentable. So this interpretation was definitely far darker than the regular Disney cartoon film that I've seen. It was really interesting to see some of the characters not knowing each other when in like the book, for example, or the older film, I think they would have already have met and known each other. And it was cool seeing just in general a slightly different plot to see how things kind of panned out, I guess. But overall it was done very well. I loved how beautiful and realistic everything looked. I know it was a mix of real life animation and CG imaging, which was pretty cool. They blended quite well together. I loved Mowgli in this. He had such an attitude on him, constantly asking questions, constantly just wanting to know why to everything. It felt real, you know. I think some of the voices didn't really suit the characters. For example, Car being voiced by Scarlett Johansson, I don't think it matched. She sounded like way too sexy almost for this snake, and I know snakes have that kind of demeanour about them, but I felt like it was too much. She didn't sound how I'd imagine a snake to sound, which was really weird. But generally I really did love the feature film, you know, and at the end when we had the credits rolling, I really enjoyed the kind of old school Disney storybook aspect they threw in, which is really cool. It was like a pop-up book. It was awesome. All in all, I really did enjoy it, and I think the little sing-song we finally had was quite cool. They didn't really use much in terms of singing, like it wasn't really a musical, but I enjoyed that they threw in a little bit here and there just for our pleasure. The third thing I want to talk about today is Akira, which I gave 3 stars. Now, I have reviewed this on my channel before in a wrap-up, and before I hadn't really understood it at all. So this was actually showing on Sci-Fi. I think they had like an animated films month going on throughout January. I don't know if it's still continuing or what, but I decided to record them, just kind of watch them in my own time. So honestly, in terms of plot, as before, I can't really explain it that well in my own words, and I just think generally it's kind of a difficult thing to explain anyway. But as I've mentioned before, although I do enjoy it, I don't really understand it. I'd hope that watching it again would kind of clear up my confusion, because I thought it was definitely something you needed to watch about 2 or 3 times to really kind of understand it a bit better if you didn't understand it already. Honestly, the general layout of my feelings are pretty much the same to the first time I watched it. Joe did clear up a little bit of confusion for me by giving me some kind of ideas of what things could mean, and I kind of appreciated it better because of that insight, but the film itself didn't really awaken my understanding. I did look up a prequel to see if there was anything, you know, that might benefit me in my knowledge, or even to see if there was a manga series prior to this that kind of explained things a bit more, but I couldn't really find anything other than the exact Akira storyline in manga form, or just the film in general. I'm pretty sure I saw it in manga form, I can't remember. And it doesn't seem to be anything more than the story that we already know. Honestly, I need to know more about this film in order to fully enjoy it, so maybe I just need to do my own further research in terms of what the director and creator kind of wanted to express in this film. I think that's the only way I'm going to be able to get my understanding, you know. So next up, I finally decided to rewatch and finish National Treasure, and I gave this 5 stars. It's basically a short drama consisting of 4 episodes that was aired on Channel 4 sometime in 2016. It's about a well-loved TV actor who becomes under suspicion and accused of rape. I think it was actually released shortly after the events that was actually happening in real life, with a lot of old time, like 80s, 90s TV personalities and stuff being accused of rape. So it was interesting to see that kind of mirrored almost, and see what it does to the family that are put under the accusation and the people around them. It was a really awesome kind of storytelling there. It's very artsy and gripping in its style of filmmaking. It shows awesome angles and kind of camera angling that kind of really absorbs you into it, and the atmosphere really catches you. It's got quite a good skill of holding the viewer and making them really kind of feel involved in what's going on. The acting is amazing, with many famous actors starring in it. I don't know if it's an all-star cast, but there's quite a few familiar faces. For example, I can't remember his real name, but Hagrid from Harry Potter is the main character, the guy that's put under suspicion of rape. The story in general was just really thrilling, and even though it was only 4 episodes long, I think they were all about an hour length, it really does pack a punch. Definitely, in my opinion, a must-see, and that's saying something from someone who never really watches or reads anything in that kind of genre. I don't even know what to really put it under, to be honest. Maybe crime or something, I don't know, but I really did enjoy it, and I think a lot of people would enjoy it as well. So the last thing I'm going to talk about for this video is Bugsy Malone. I gave this 5 stars, and I actually saw this at my old school. They were doing like a production of it, so I was like, oh my god, I've got to see it, and I was excited to actually get a ticket and just check it out. I actually saw this on the 1st of February, but because I hadn't got around to filming this video yet, I thought I'll chuck it into the January wrap up. The performance was absolutely fantastic. As well as just having an amazing time being in my old school and seeing some of the teachers that I loved throughout my school experience, it was just nice being able to support my school in doing something such as this, really. It's shown a production that was pretty incredible. The students absolutely nailed it with the acting, the accents, the singing, the music, the dancing, everything was just amazing. And yes, there were a few hiccups of people forgetting their lines and not sure when they should come out onto the scene, but just generally it was pretty phenomenal. And just for an opening night specifically, the performance was absolutely superb. Even though I'm pretty sure half of these kids, or even all of these kids, weren't there when I was there like 4 years ago, it was just nice to feel pride for my old school and just I don't know, I had a grin on my face for the whole thing. It was just amazing. I really enjoyed it, and obviously you guys can't see this, so I can't say, oh, check it out, because it was a stage production at my school, but you know, it was amazing. I really enjoyed it, and if it was on film I'd say check it out. But yeah, that's all that I've got to talk about today. I hope you've enjoyed my wrap up. I don't know why I've been kind of monotonous throughout this video. I'm very sorry. I think I need a drink. But yeah, I will speak to you in the video soon. Bye.